One and all, welcome back to Age of Empires 4 Action. We're casting the race for world first in Season 8. That's right, there is a bit of a feud ongoing between these two. Mayan Sanity's Anatand and Beastie Cutie are vying for first place on the ladder to end Season 8. And the race really is underway, but things have already gotten more spicy because while these two are sleeping right now, Louis MT has entered the arena and snatched away second place. But this is kind of wild, man. They queued into each other 5 times in a row, and I think BC might have already been a little bit frustrated, considering the very first time they queued into each other, he crashed 5 minutes into the game. On top of that, he then follows up with a loss, bounces back, but now finds himself on Socotra again in a very odd matchup. Abbasids versus Japanese. Now, on a normal map, I would say this is pretty good for the Japanese. And I'm wondering if maybe BC has anything in mind that can make it bad for Japan when they play on such a claustrophobic map. Because we are, of course, on the little island Socotra, where you can try to rush people early on. I'm just not really sure how you rush them as the Abbasids, right? Like, I mean, camel archers would take a long time to build. You don't have that presence. Meanwhile, the Japanese are very good at kind of zerging you after these fast castle builds. They might even look to be feudal present, because I could envision a world in which Anatan plays maybe into Shinobi? No, surely not. The Kura storehouse is too valuable here, folks. Like, the lack of safe food means that the farms feel even better. I think we're going to find out in just a second here. At the time of recording, by the way, Anatan is in first. So Beastie was just trying to claw nearby. I think after he won on Socotra, we had the Dry Arabia game, and that kept about a 50 elo difference between them. But at the absolute top right now, Anatan has about 2,320 elo at the time of recording this game, and I think Beastie was about 2,250. So pretty tight up there. The other person in the running now is Louis MT at 2,220 elo, which is very, very high, folks. And you know, it's kind of fun that we got this. I mean, I've been talking to a few people behind the scenes about the idea of having something like this be more kind of frequent, almost like a way of rewarding people and how they perform. I would love to see a format that makes sense for it, because I'm a really big fan of the Race to World First ever since I got involved in it. For those who don't know, I worked on the official broadcast for one of the teams last year. And it was pretty incredible to kind of witness the stories evolve over long, sloggy periods. The only issue with Age of Empires 4 is the ladder is active for, I believe it's 3 months at a time, so you don't necessarily have that same effect. You could try to structure an event around the final weeks. The only issue I think you'd run into there is, at that point, it might conflict with tournaments. Anyway, Kurostra's coming in. We have got the Forge on the stone, so we're seeing some gathered up, which means he wants a quick Daimyo level. I imagine Anatan is going for his classic, good old stables into Uma Bannerman build, which is pretty damn effective here. Considering that upon opening, the Abbasids aren't going to have much to contest you, right? They're going military wing, which makes a lot of sense on a map this small. You don't really get as much value out of eco wing here. And also, because the distance to the enemy base is much shorter, the military wing gets a clearer opportunity to punish your opponent in the opening minutes. Although I don't think it's going to be quick enough here. Like, realistically, there should be enough stone gathered for the Daimyo before the military units arrive. It's going to be a little bit tight, and that's why you're seeing Anatan now shift across additional villages. There's no way he's considering a second TC, right? I think this is simply because he knows the attack is coming. And in fact, he can even see that now with his scout. Love the way he's playing this as well. He's edging the range so he doesn't reveal that he knows. I know, immediately shifting back. Daimyo on the way. Wolves are going to go up on the backside. Kind of tough, right? Kind of feels like you need one here as well. Maybe a wall to this berry. That's a very long wall to commit to. He would have had enough wood, but it's going to be too late now. So instead, it is going to be the outpost rushed up. But the timing on this... No, he should be fine. I think you'll probably end up with 2 villages low on HP, but it shouldn't really be feasible for Beastie to stop this from occurring. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. He needed to arc a bit quicker across here, maybe slightly dive the TC range. Dive comes in now. Love that from Anatan. He tanks with the scout and min-maxes it down to 5 HP. Okay, that was incredible. That was actually fantastic. Super ballsy as well to do that with 2 spears staring you down like that. But by doing that, he guarantees the villagers don't even get close to dying, and he doesn't have to shift more away, which leads to additional idle time. Small details like that make the difference, and now we've got the second outpost coming in. This stuff is really strong. Like, the thing you got to keep in mind with this type of play is the only way now that Beastie can stop you is with an archer ship, which we can see is already coming, but because it got built at home, both outposts will be up in time, and because he's now gathering gold, he'll have access to arrow slits quite quickly. There will be a small window, though, keeping in mind that, Anatan is probably going to get, 15 stone a minute, I'd say, because I don't think it's at full capacity yet. So it's going to be a little bit tricky here. And remember, because he placed the outpost closer to the shoreline, it means that when villagers go to garrison, they're going to take a lot longer to run over. What do you guys think? Ones if you think Beastie's going to win this, twos if you think Anatan wins it from here. Because this is a little bit scary for Anna, right? And this is why. This is pretty crafty. The ram play, it makes a lot of sense here. Usually rams can get countered by just outpost shuffling with villagers. But if you've got double archer ships spraying onto it, it's going to be very difficult to move out and kill this ram. Damn, this is cool. What an interesting build. I mean, it's wild because I don't feel like I've ever seen Abbasids played this way exactly, because this is a very different map, and Abbasids are never really a pick that is prioritized on Socotra in the limited competitive play we've had. Bannon plus Horseman. The crazy thing to me as well is Anatan just seems to have a soul read on Beastie. Right? Most of the matchups we've seen, Anatan has had the correct civ choice to ruin Beastie's day. And I think it's true here as well. Beastie, I remember a few months back, he had a crazy game against Louis MT, this exact matchup. He tried to all-in and feudal, and afterwards says, I don't know what I meant to do in this matchup. I don't know how I'm meant to win it. Some numbers begin to scale as well. Looks like we have got Spear Archer coming. Beastie, second ram now going to be prepped. This is very difficult to dive, actually. Anatan needs the undermesh. Instead, though, prioritizing the Steeled Arrow, we're going to see a switch up here. Double archery range being crept, and I love this because right now, he knows that the vision for Beastie is on the south side of the base. So this is a sneaky play, unknown about. And the cool thing about it as well is with limited food access on the map, it makes a lot more sense to go into archers than keep spamming cav. Even with those free farms, right, you're going to be quite limited, handicapped in what you can get because you are playing true defender here. Ram is going to look to start shuffling in. Already taken a decent amount of damage, though. Not ideal. Horseman will be able to shove it away again. I feel like Beastie's just maybe giving over a little bit too much damage onto his siege weapons here. He's going to look to bludgeon this. Now, keep in mind, if he loses access to the gold, it's not GG because he has this Yumi transition coming. And the Horseman's is going to go down. Love the fact that the outpost is just targeting down those spears. Yumi are targeting them as well. And the Rams have got through one outpost, but I don't think they can get through the second here, guys. It's too tricky, right? Like, running into that choke point is going to lock you in. On top of that, Rams are already half HP. So instead, Beastie now has to add another. And no, to clarify for people, this is Season 8. We're watching the race for first on the leaderboard. Anatan and Beastie, the two front runners currently. Camel Archers are going to start coming out, so Beastie has found his way into this. Kind of tricky though, right? Like, Horseman plus Yumi is a very intriguing combo against this. Obviously, these guys are very tanky, so small quantities of Yumi will not win out. But with this many Yumi, you should be able to clear the spears, and that's where the Horseman can be your MVP. I know, does also have the undermesh on the way, so all of a sudden these archer ships not going to be hitting as hard. Remember, they're going to find themselves with a -5 damage output because they have 6 damage hitting 5 times. Yeah, so a substantial decrease in DPS there. Camels won't feel it as impacted. Very high base damage right at 12, so losing 1 doesn't really sting too much. I love this from Anatan. He's trying to get into a position where he can start sniping reinforcements, but he's got to react quick to this. Demo ship coming in. Half HP on the outpost already. Villagers, they're going to need to think about just evacuating the area, but instead, Worm goes around the backside, gets the double tap with the ram. However, the villagers are able to get away. So, deletion of the defenses, but no worker kills still yet in this game. And I'm wondering, yeah, look at this. Anatan, he says, okay, if I can't have my trinkets, maybe you shouldn't have your life. Horseman plus Yumi now raiding. And remember, both of these units are very swift. Top of that, positioning for Beastie might not be ideal. He might be saved by this forward House of Wisdom, which should give him an early warning of what's coming. Even with that, though, Yuumi are just so quick to dive in. And Wheelbarrow is at least there, so if BC insta-reacts, he will be safe. However, one of those villages is very low. Looks like he is going to try to shuffle away, but the target fire coming in, and it's hand. Oh, he clicked the wrong villager. A little bit of a whoopsie there. So Beastie able to get away with that. No losses whatsoever. Horsemen are getting ready and prepped to dive on the east side. Meantime, Rams are going to keep just burning down buildings here. I know. Now just going to drag the Yuumi back, says not worth it. Instead, he's going to set up for the boar. Yeah, pretty cool here, right? And this is a big part of why we don't see Abbasids here, is they can't leverage this boar whatsoever. This is very much a Japanese play in this matchup, right? It's why, actually, even when I see Ayyubids on this map, it feels a little bit out of place. Looks like Ram is going to get through another farmhouse, so kind of annoying to have to keep replacing these buildings, especially considering what BC is doing. Man, this is just so crafty. The fact that he's managing to tech up so far ahead of the Japanese. There is a caveat to this, though, and it's that there is a way out for Anno. If he can get back on the gold, something that's pretty vile here is Castle into 40 Yuumi upgraded. So if he keeps bulking Yuumi and then goes for the veterancy, Japan can actually win from this position. But he's going to need to do some damage along the way. Interesting choice to tank with the villagers there instead of the military units. But Outpost is up, Farmhouse is up. Yuumi are stepping up to the mark here. Starts to dive in. Spearmen are going to have to back away. Camel Archer count continues to scale in the meantime. Yuumi, I love the fact he's just splitting off 1 or 2 to just do some poke damage, force some reactions, maybe get to a point where the attack alerts stop triggering so you can get kills for free. Continues the pressure on the west side, so that's going to be first blood drawn on the villager count as one goes down there. Yuumi just kind of knocking the health bars low enough that the damage can come in a bit later here. In fact, the timing could not be more perfect on this. Anatan just spotted him moving out for the berries. Oh, this is big. Remember the mobility of this army. Horsemen, Yuumi, now on the way up. Camel Archers are going to react to this first. They won't be able to stand here long. Horsemen now diving in. No reaction out of Beastie. Double Camel about to go down and nothing really given in return. Yuumi will just dive in for more, so tech up complete. But I love the fact that he targets camels first. Remember, the spearmen who still have the bonus damage against. And now, a dive across onto the villages. Yuumi getting in range of this. Looks like another villager going to go down. That's 4 worker kills so far. Make it 5. In fact, this could potentially be more, but a bit of hesitation setting in there. Anatan not willing to dive underneath the TC. But he is now starting to prep for a tech up. Yeah, and this is smart. He's already leaning into the center of the map himself, onto the berries, remember. You get a great gathering rate as the Japanese. In fact, you are faster at gathering from berries than the Abbasids once you've got the level 2 wheelbarrow. Trying to think if there's maybe some gold that we could see Anatan leaning into, but it's an unfortunate spawn, actually. Sometimes you get a gold spawning inland a bit in the center. All of them are on the fringe here, which makes it very difficult for Anatan to rush that age up, unless he sneaks somewhere where the archer ships aren't. Mango is going to be built in the meantime for Beast to try and hold. He's fallen behind on villages. It's now an 8 eco lead for Anatan. I wonder, does he just consider selling the stone to get gold here? You get a pretty decent rate, and you will... I mean, I guess the other way is just by gathering the stone, you also get the gold. Yeah, that's what he done. That's kind of sick. I love that. It's more efficient for the Japanese than any other civ to do this because you're getting gold as you gather stone. He's going to have to sell some more, though. Remember, it's all about that Yuumi upgrade now. Veterancy definitely worth the 250 gold. Float Gate being rushed up by 14 here. PC's going to have a hard time punishing as well. Check what's happened here. Walls are coming in, and he's gone mostly ranged. Looks like Anatan will have to give up on the full wall, but just that center there is actually a really big deal. It gives him fluid movement, and it slows Beastie's reaction. So much harder now for Beastie to trade in a base race. Oy. In fact, he needs to start trading in some form soon. There's a 10 eco lead now. Make it 11. Anatan just finding so much value for his efforts here. Tech up, now complete. So Veterancy's been queued up for Beastie. Instead, Anatan is now prepping the Samurai. So Yuumi upgrade is on the way, but we are getting a focus on Samurai, and it is going to be a Rax drop for the Yoroshiros. So that's going to ramp up his production. I wondered if he'd maybe go for a Forge drop, just due to the lack of gold access, but nah. Your boy's making do. Keep in mind, Beastie's defense numbers are really skewed because he has got the Dao as well as the Baglas. So 6 of his total army actually won't be involved in this fight. They're blockading on the gold lines. I love the fact that instead of trying to contest that directly, Anatan chose to blockade food on land for Beastie and force him into a very uncomfortable farm transition. He does at least have the Fertile Crescent to make it more affordable, but it doesn't feel great having to do it this early, especially on such a small map. Anatan kind of content at just the 34 archers. They are about to get Yuumi'd up. 10 seconds till the veterancy comes in. In the meantime, it's going to be a dive in. That's going to be, what, 3 more villager kills? Easily. Ooh, just missing the final strike there. 13 villager lead now. And this is really important because, remember, without gold access, Anatan has to keep selling resources to get that gold, which becomes very inefficient. One thing that is going to make it a bit better for him is the fact that he has this villager lead. And in conjunction with that, he is now playing for the relics. Yeah, and 2 of them are at least feasible here, right? One's on the way home already, another one's inland. Vet Yuumi are just waiting on the flank here. Good choice to go into the outpost. Beastie had an issue here. He was suffering from a lack of vision. So it should be a saving grace. In fact, yeah. The timing on that could not have been more perfect. Absolutely saved his bacon from getting cooked. Do we have a temple yet? I don't think we do. No, still no temple is a bit surprising. Anatan needs to drop that now. He has also got gold trickle coming in from the sacred site, so extra ways of getting his hands on the goodies. I believe, yeah, this is gung-ho, man. He needs to drop off for that gold ASAP because he's gone for 6 Rax's worth of production. Sorry, 5 Rax's worth of production here into Samurai. I think we might be also approaching the point where you kill the Yuumi Bannerman to get the buff on the Samurai instead. 20 Samurai climbing. Beastie, he doesn't have a good answer to this. He's trying to go Nagulums. Even that's not going to feel great due to the Adachi tech, which just got queued up. +4 damage coming in just 15 seconds. And Anatan, when he has the mass, reveals the true intent. Beastie now has his work cut out for him. He was not anticipating mass Samurai like this. Yuumi in the backside are going to distract and take out a few villages. But the dive comes in from the east, as the Japanese do too. Tricky situation here. Beastie also out of gold, so limited in his ability to scale there. He's sneaking out on the south side, but that doesn't feel safe. Top of that, Anatan is already prepping the Springald, so the Mangonels are not going to help Beastie in this situation. Mangoes that in Season 9 would help anyway, but in Season 8, they are still the be-all ultimate defender that protects you when you're hunkered down like this. Anatan has been walking around with this relic for the last 2 minutes, guys. He's still never dropped it off. Finally, the Shinto Shrine's coming in. But not before he gets to do the classic to Beastie that Beastie does to everyone else, right? The I've got a wall of lol, just in case you didn't know. Should you kill your Bannerman or go Kamikaze? I mean, depending on his position, just kill him with delete key or send him in, right? But at this stage, I think it's worth having the Samurai be buffed instead. Probably just forgot about it. It's easy to kind of glance at and not realize at first, but dive coming in anyway. Springalds are ready to contest that backside. The Mangoes looking for their shot. Yeah, that definitely felt like more than 9 tower range. Springalds not quite able to reach this choke point. A little bit awkward to squeeze through, but the Springalds are in a good enough position that Beastie can't hold it there. So the line's going to spread out here, and military is going to favor Anatan. Dive comes in, the Springalds able to snipe onto the back, and a Mango already down. Samurai just more or less being ignored to try and deal with the Yuumi, but what do you do about these big bad lads is the problem. Crossbows have been queued up by Beastie, but the count is incredibly low currently. And this looks like a flood in. Yuumi now sniping under the villages. Beastie barely holding on here. And I think we might just have a GG. He's going to try to go for the dive in on, with the villagers to snipe out the spring wall, but just a few samurai will be able to make him pay for this. It's a 20 eco lead. And it's not done yet, guys. The villagers on the tree line are dead. The villagers chasing the springald are going to be dead. And Anatan, despite the fact this game looked unplayable 15 minutes ago, he finds the way through. Yuumi, samurai, to slay the king.